What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Sowdev podcast. My name is Dev. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate you. We have some tea to get into today, if it wasn't obvious. But the tea is also obviously Beyonce. Anywho, before we get into that tea, make sure you go and follow me at Sowdev on Twitter, Instagram, and literally everywhere else. Okay? Look, I am kind of coming off a high of Beyonce. It's super interesting to me how, when you get a project like Renaissance and she goes on tour and she brings it to life and she somehow brings such an amazing album, well, literally to life and elevate that project to insane heights. And because I just remember being at the Renaissance tour and just thinking, how can you possibly outdo yourself here? Right? But the reality of it is, it's Beyonce. So we know she always is. This project, y'all, this tour was insanely good. And while yes, Renaissance, so I can't say, hey, Renaissance was better or Cowboy Carter tour was better. I can't. The reality is they are so uniquely different in their own way. It's just like the direction of Renaissance because of the culture behind that in the sound of Renaissance in itself and what Renaissance actually meant. That whole era, that whole project, and the approach for this tour is obviously different because they're obviously different albums and they're curated for those albums. And seeing how Beyonce curated this tour, seeing it for myself, I really didn't watch videos prior. Renaissance, it was everywhere. But this tour, it was not as much, or it wasn't in my face as much. And obviously it wasn't lack of quality because the talk was still in my face, although the videos weren't, which was interesting. But I also loved it because I really got to experience a lot of things for the first time. And that was a whole experience in itself. It kind of gagged me because most times you know what's coming when a tour has been going on for months, right? It's hard to not. And I had realized by probably the end of the show that I hadn't seen 95% of what is in this tour. So everything was just such a pleasant surprise. And mind you, Vegas is the last two stops. So again, the entire duration of the tour, I just hadn't seen much video footage of it, which again, fantastic. I what the show meant because of the culture behind Renaissance. Not Renaissance, because of the culture behind Cowboy Carter. I mean, it's the same cultures, but two different perspectives of it. And the overall theme is really reclaiming spaces that have really always been ours. And watching her create this show, because the talk on Twitter with a lot of people, right? Because she's wearing the American flag everywhere. Like this is such a patriotic tour. It really is. She sings the national anthem. Everyone gives respect to it, right? Because even when people say, oh, I hate America, blah, 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 at the end of the day, they want better for America. That's always the root behind it. And like I said, really, reclaiming our spaces, reclaiming our time, like standing firm in the fact that we will take up space. That's really not an option. We will exist. We have history. That history is important. That history is worth talking about. So that history does not be repeated. And, obviously, history does repeat itself. I mean, obviously, I feel like I don't even have to really get into all of it. It just does. And, you know, obviously, things like this come to the surface every now and then. And it's like a torch passes on, and it's kind of like, okay, now it's our turn to take on the fight. And there may be some steps back, but there will always be steps forward. I truly believe that. And I feel like this tour really represented the idea that, yeah, okay. I mean, they can try. That's really like the feeling that I got from the ideas of us being erased, right? Like our history being erased. I mean, actively, right? So I think that this tour is an empowerment because it's very clear, right? That this show is making you aware of the fact that there is a movement that is going to happen. And it will not be televised. It will be live. And this tour really is the movement. I mean, ironically, this tour really happening in the midst of it. And when you really think about it, right? The fact that the way the albums were released, they weren't even supposed to come out in this particular order. But it switched for whatever reason. And it was just kind of like divine timing because Renaissance came at a time when it really needed to come. And so did this album. And I don't know how that keeps happening for her, but it's so culturally, like, so relevant, culturally relevant, big time. And it's always such a gag to me to see how she takes it a step further because watching this show, it, like, oh my goodness, she's doing more than a lot of politicians. Most politicians. Let's just be real. The themes that are on that stage, she's not hiding from anything. She doesn't care what you have to say. That's why the conversations of people, you know, uh, speaking on Beyonce winning country album or doing country music or whatever, it's like Beyonce literally is country. But like, we all know what people consider country. And the root of that is racist. So look, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Whatever. You can say, oh, there's a black country. Girl, shut up. I just, I feel like this tour was very, like I said, empowering, but also inspiring. And she did say, towards the end of the tour that she hoped we felt inspired. And the biggest thing after Renaissance was I felt very inspired after Renaissance. And I had a very big spurt happen in my career and personal life after that. I did because of the empowerment that I felt after that show. Like it really sparked something. And to see this tour 2 years later, it was just kind of like also a reminder that there is always room to grow, no matter how big you are, no matter how successful you are, no matter how at the top you think you are, there's always room to grow. And I'm amazed every tour. And look, first of all, the vocals. The best vocals she has served the entire tour was night one in Vegas. Absolutely. I could not believe how hard she went tonight, but I could believe it because even from the beginning of the show, the energy in that stadium, I mean, those seats were filled to the top. That was a sold out show, period. In the energy in the room, I'm telling you, the entire stadium, like coordinatedly doing the wave several times, minimum 5 times going around in a circle, just everybody just on the same wavelength. uh the pun, it's fine anyway. I'm funny sometimes, bitch, but it genuinely, it felt amazing, and you could tell that she felt the energy in the room, because as soon as she came on stage, it's like she locked in so hard that I feel like she hadn't really locked in like that probably the whole tour to me. And I was so, like, captivated, and I could not believe that I was witnessing what I see in videos every single day. I see these moments where they're just like, where Beyonce is giving such a performance that you can't even process it. And that's why a lot of people be screaming in these videos, because what the hell else are you supposed to do? I'm just sitting here watching her sing live and this growl, this grittiness, but this vocal agility, and just playing with these different textures and tones in a short period of time while she's dancing and moving all around this big stage. I mean, watching her lock in with the choreography, it was just a different vibe, a different energy. Y'all, I'm telling you, I am gagged. And and look, I want to say so bad, like, this tour was so much better than Renaissance. And obviously, this tour has had probably way more problems than Renaissance, but I feel like she made this one a bit more elaborate. Like, she had a lot more room to work with after the Renaissance tour. That's what I felt. I felt like she took what she had and she really built on it. But also, but again, it's an entirely completely different narrative because of the album. So I just love the way that she put everything together. I mean, one of my favorite things was how the ground just changed so many different times. Like, they were doing Alien Superstar, and it was like the moon was actually right there beneath them. I didn't understand it, bitch. I was like, oh my god, like, what kind of techno, bitch? Like, what is going on? What is this? Like, your dress is changing colors, and it's coordinated with the lights that are on our wrists. Like, oh my goodness, Beyonce, be for real. What, girl? No, I have to know, because this is some top notch shit. And we really have to start having some serious conversations, because this is the best performer alive. Hello? Best performer alive. I'm sorry. You are not going to find anybody that's going to give me that kind of show. You can say, oh, so and so is so entertaining, but let me tell you something. There was levels to the entertainment at that show. I mean, those visuals. I mean, the messaging. It goes so much deeper than just being simply entertained. I was educated, not only on history, but also on Beyonce. I feel like we saw every ounce of Beyonce through those visuals, past, present, in future. I say future because we still don't have the visuals. So they're locked away somewhere. They're not with me right now. So that's the future, whenever the future is. Because I'm a bit tired, but I get it. We're in a time when she wants people to focus on the voice more so than, you know, the visuals, because people get very distracted. And they just want to, they want that song, they want that video, they may not ever stream it again, but they want it now. you know? And it's one of the reasons why I'm glad that Nicki Minaj didn't release any songs, not any songs, any videos for Pink Friday 2. I have grown appreciation for that. And even with Miley Cyrus's album, I appreciate that. And she said this in the radio recently with Ryan Seacrest. She said, you know, I make albums, I don't make singles. And that's 110% true. Like, entirely. If you actually go and listen to all of her albums, sure, there are some crazy good singles on those albums, but those albums are albums. They're not just individual songs put together to create some project. They all really feel like whole projects that are cohesive, that really tell you a story, that really paint a picture, and like you really understand what she's talking about. Like she was really articulating her words in these experiences at such a young age. So there's such an appreciation for the artistry. And when I was even watching the tour videos with Beyonce and just how young she was when she really began to flesh out this talent, it was kind of like, whoa. The perfecting your craft starts at a very young age. And I think it's one of those things where it's not that you either have it or you don't, but it's more so like one of those things where, I don't know, you do it or you don't. Because I feel like if you're consistent enough, you can develop these things that you do see in other artists. I think it's totally possible. People just don't have the platforms or the resources. It's so true. There's so much talent out there. I think that that's really what it makes me think of. I mean, how much talent is out there that doesn't have the platform to be heard? Interesting thoughts. Anyhow, look, I'm mentally in like 5 different places, like in my brain. I can't even speak. I didn't even have a voice leaving the concert. All I'm thinking about in my head is just, wow, what a show. All I can think about is the lighting, the effects, the shape of the stage, the screens, how crisp it was, how clean even the throwback videos that she utilized in the show, how HD, and it was just like it was filmed yesterday. Like it was not altered, like perfect looking media. perfect vocals, not one dancer out of turn. I mean, what a show. I cannot believe what I just saw. I mean, the set list. That was a perfect set list. I couldn't have asked for anything more. And I was in the car on the way to the show and I was like, there's no way she's ever going to perform Thick again. And she performed Thick. And she performed the whole song. I was gagged. I was like, excuse me? When do I win like this? Genuinely. She did Irreplaceable. Oh my, she did Throwbacks down. And I appreciate it because I feel like on Renaissance, we got teased more with throwbacks through mashups than we really got to enjoy those songs. And it still kind of happened in Cowboy Carter, but it wasn't as much of a tease. It happened here and there. But Renaissance, I felt like it happened more often where I was like, Beyonce, I want to fight you because I want to hear these songs. But I just love the range of songs that we got in compared to Renaissance. Like she really switched that up there, but we also got a Renaissance section too inside of Cowboy Carter. So honestly, well done, Beyonce. Well done. That's a 10 out of 10 show. And I just all I can girl. I my brain is everywhere because I'm still trying to process it. I captured so much content. And the greatest thing about me capturing content at shows, I'm 9 times out of 10 probably not looking at it. I mean, I got the right angle. I'll probably hold it there. And then I'll probably stay present in the show. Two things can happen at the same time. It is honestly a wonderful time. I get the content and I'm present. Love that for me. Do what works for you, bitch. Anyhow, I got my footage okay. I had to clear out gigabytes. And I mean gigabytes, bitch. Because them videos, they take up space down. I think I cleared at least, what, 30 gigabytes? Not even joking. Anywho, iPhone storage is fake. They playing with me. Girl, please be serious. But yeah, guys, 10 out of 10. No notes. Actually, I do have notes, but it's not really for Beyonce. It's for Allegiant Stadium. Because why didn't they print out Beyonce donuts? Last time they had a donut with a Renaissance printed out on it at Pink Box, and I'm like, why didn't they do it this time? If you had a problem selling them, bitch, I would have bought all of them last time. You should have let me know. You should have let me know. But overall, it was such a good time. I felt like everybody really dressed to the nines. I feel like I saw more cowboy hats than I have ever seen in my life. I feel like everybody was nice. I felt like nobody was really doing too much. It was just good vibes all around from top to bottom in that stadium. And I think every person left feeling that same thing. I truly believe that. Wow. That's really all I have to say about the Cowboy Carter tour. Y'all know. Come on here, give you the little spiel, the little tea or whatever, and we go on about our day until next week. I just wanted to come on here and discuss it because I was going to do it the next day, but I just feel like doing it right after is so authentic because I'm really feeling overwhelmed about the show because there's so much of it that, again, and I've said this a billion times, that I still have to process. There's so much messaging. There's so many experiences within that whole experience. I'm going to watch the videos I took, and I took a lot. I'm going to watch them on repeat. That's why I love taking videos. I have them forever after the experience. Because I feel like I need it again. And I can't, and I wish that I could go to the second show. I would love that. But I already have tickets to see Descendants. And I'm going to go see Kylie Contrall perform her new debut EP. That's right, promotion. Go stream that EP. Kylie Contrall, Cantrall, and listen to that down. She eats. I'm not joking. She's the next coming up. And I don't hear nothing because I said the same thing about Olivia Rodrigo before she popped off. And then when she popped off, people was like, oh, she really came out of nowhere. I was like, no, girl, she ain't came from out of nowhere. She was actually on that platform over there and she was really popping, but you wasn't really looking that way, even though people were saying, hey, this is T, just like Sabrina Carpenter. But when they popped off, you was just kind of gagged. Anyway, I don't know how else to explain that. But anyway, girl, I am excited. First of all, because I haven't discussed before we hop off here. I have to just really discuss really quick. Blue Ivy. No. The way she performed tonight, I've not seen her do that. And it's not that she hasn't ate. You know what I mean? Like, she is still a very young teenage girl. But the way she performed tonight let me know that obviously we knew this was a problem, right? In a good way. But it solidified the fact that this is a problem. She is a force. I feel like I remember standing Hannah Montana and Miley Cyrus in the midst of the tippy top of Hannah Montana. It was insane. I remember the feeling I got from being a fan. And I feel like what I see from her really provides that same feeling. When I watch her, I cannot help but feel like, my goodness, greatness is on the horizon. And I was sitting there like, because we watched her on Renaissance all the way up until the very last show in the growth. But the growth I saw today, my mouth was wide open. The confidence is popping. By the last act, when that tour comes, oh my goodness. The girl should be very afraid because the precision that she has right now at her age, her parents have given her the resources and the space to grow in a way that they had not been able to. She's really getting to grow up dancing on stage with her mom. Whereas Beyonce, young, really had to go hard in a group for such a very long time, for decades, actually. Whereas she can go on stage with her mom and have her own sections and really develop on her own time, at her own speed. What a blessing that is. I mean, that is what you are supposed to do. Set your children up. And she is working. She has a job. She is making her money. That is a factual statement, baby. The girl is working. T. I can't wait to see where she goes. The incorporation of family inside this tour was beautiful. And I feel like I felt that way more than I did in Renaissance. The family factor was just so prominent, and I really did appreciate it, you know? Anyhow, that's all I really have. I'm serious this time. The tour was a 10 out of 10. Fantastic. Beyonce, ugh, I'm obsessed. I always will be. Talk about a pioneer in paving ways. She does not back down. How inspiring. Thank you for tuning into the That's So Dev podcast, where you stay true and stay you. I appreciate you. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at That's So Dev on Twitter, Instagram, and literally everywhere else, including YouTube. We got it popping over there. Now, drink some water, eat some good food, take care of yourself, because if you don't, who the hell else will? And I will see you on the next podcast. Peace.